So I received a question recently asking me if it was worth it to buy Chanel Sycamore, and not only in the small bottle or the 200 ml bottle, but this person wanted to find out if it's worth it to buy the 400 milliliter bottle of Chanel Sycamore. So today I'm going to discuss with you Chanel Sycamore, what it smells like if you have never smelled it, what I think about the prices, and if it's worth it. Also give you 5 alternatives to Chanel Sycamore. So if you want to find out all about Chanel Sycamore today, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, Chanel Sycamore. It's all about Chanel Sycamore today on the channel. A fragrance I own right here. In fact, myself, I had bought a bottle of the 400 milliliter Chanel Sycamore in the past, a long time ago, going back to like 2014, which I decanted and I sold off to a bunch of people. The 400 ml bottle does not spray. Some of them do come with a atomizer, a white atomizer, which mine did, and I never filled that up. I filled them up obviously in small decant bottles. But I do have the 200 ml bottle here, and I enjoy Sycamore. I love the smell, but there are, less expensive alternatives. And I'm going to break down the pricing for you as well, per ml price. If you buy the larger bottle, it's less per ml price, but a lot more juice and a lot more pricey. So will you be decanting it? Will you be keeping the juice all to yourself? All that good stuff, I'll let you know about it. Plus the 5 alternatives. But before I get to all of those, if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. How many of you are fans of Chanel Sycamore? How many of you generally love the fragrances from Chanel? The signature lineup, men's, women's, unisex from the Les Eaux collection, and also the unisex offerings from the Les Exclusives collection. I'm thinking of Mugler Les Exceptions for some odd reason. The prices have gone up quite a bit, and I feel like they're probably going to go up even further because I think this size has been at $350 for a while now. So it seems like the Chanel seems like the prices are a little more expensive in comparison to something like Dior Privé or Maison Christian Dior. 200 ml bottle for $350. Maison Christian Dior prices just went up. They were at $330 for 250 ml. Now they're $350 for 250 ml, so you do get 50 milliliter of more juice with the Maison Christian Dior fragrances. But Chanel seems like they're a little more of a classy, a little more upscale, and of course a little more pricey with their fragrances. And these fragrances used to be at eau de toilette concentration. Once Chanel Boy came out, the Chanel decided to make all of their fragrances as eau de parfum concentration because they launched Boy as eau de parfum in comparison to the Les Exclusives fragrances prior to Boy all being eau de toilette. And I think a lot of folks complained about how they were not the same, the smell was changed, performance was changed, yada yada, and I can see that because they had to increase the concentration to make eau de toilettes into eau de parfums, and then smells do change and things that do shift around and things like that. Well, we're stuck with eau de parfums now. This is an eau de parfum. Originally, the fragrance had launched as an eau de toilette in 2008. The eau de parfums came out in 2016. So my subscriber or follower mentions or sent me this particular message, and I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. And she says, "Dear Sebastian, I know you get a tons of DMs. I really hope you could get to mine and maybe help me out. Chanel Sycamore has a very special place in my heart. Pretty much this fragrance officially started my collection about 10 years ago. I just got an offer to buy a 400 milliliter bottle for $4.95 EDP. In your opinion, is it worth it? I value your opinion beyond how I am able to express." So that's what Anna says, and $4.95 for 400 ml bottle I think is a good price, but I'm fearing that the prices are going to go up, because here's what my experience was. I looked online at Chanel.com. There are no 400 ml bottles available for sale for any of the Les Exclusives collection. I messaged my contact at Neiman Marcus, not Saks, and I asked how much the price was. They didn't get back to me in time. So I called our Chanel boutique, and they were investigating, and they did not find any in stock, no 400 mLs. But she said pricing for the 400 mLs were $495. So if it is $495, which is what Anna was mentioning, per ml price would be $1.35 if you add that tax on top of the $495. So in comparison to a $350 200 ml bottle like mine, the price is almost $2 per ml after tax. So you're saving about 65 cents per ml. Not a lot of savings, but get this. I got a message as I was just about to shoot this video, and my contact has mentioned that she has the price listed as $650 for the 400 ml bottle. So it's a lot pricier. If you get access to the 400 ml at $495, I say get it right away. I know pricing is going to go up soon with Chanel. I know they raise prices up frequently, and they haven't done it for a while. I'm sensing it. And if my contact at Neiman's is saying it's $650 for a 400 ml, and the Chanel boutique is saying $495 for a 400 ml, then I think prices will go up, because there's some kind of a price difference here that is confusing to me. The other thing is, my Chanel boutique did say there's none in stock. In the system it is. I can get a Gardenia is what she said. I think they had available somewhere in Florida, and it's with the atomizer for $570. So what's the difference in prices? I don't know. But personally, I think the 400 ml bottle is a good value at $135 per ml. Could you use up 400 milliliters of juice? I don't know. Perhaps you could, or are you going to decant it? But just keep in mind, the 400 ml bottle is not going to come with a sprayer, but it's a beautiful bottle. I can't find mine. I don't know where it is. It's emptied out, and it's a you know, you turn the cap. It's a great looking bottle, so I've kept my bottle, but it's not sprayable. That's why some of them do come with an atomizer, or you can decant into your own you know, bottles or whatever. So what does a Sycamore smell like? For me, Chanel lists the notes of vetiver, cedar, vanilla, but I get cypress, juniper, I get spices in there, and there's woodsy touches, lots of woodsy touches, but I get some peppery touches in here, like pink pepper or black pepper, more like pink pepper. There's a little bit of a floralcy around this pink pepper, but I also get the Chanel aldehydes here. There's definitely like Chanel DNA, Chanel aldehydes. I always associate aldehydes with Chanel DNA, and I get that here, definitely get that here. In the background, you can kind of smell like this is a Chanel fragrance when you smell it. It totally does. But you know, it's not right off the bat. You know, when you first put your nose to it, it's all that very earthy, dark, kind of smoky, woody vetiver, the grassiness as well. But when you're wearing it, you'll realize that there is something Chanel-like DNA under there. That's what this smells like. It's I think out of all the Chanel Les Exclusives fragrances, this might be the most masculine out of all of them. Even Boy doesn't seem as masculine as this, but it is. This one is the most masculine. I definitely recommend this vetiver. Are there differences between the other version? It's long gone now. I don't have any of that particular version, so I can't really speak about it, but I do remember something about it being a little more interesting than the Eau de Parfum. I feel like the Eau de Parfum, on the other hand, does have a little bit of a longer lasting power in comparison to the Eau de Toilette, but there are the Chanel purists out there. There's people hunting for all the Eau de Toilette versions of these fragrances, but I think slowly they're all disappearing, and we're kind of left with the Eau de Parfum. So those are my thoughts on this. I'm going to cover what I think Anna should do at the end of the video again, but I'm going to let you know about 5 alternatives to Chanel Sycamore as well. The first and obvious one, and a lot of people compare it to Chanel Sycamore, is a very inexpensive fragrance from the house of Lalique, 100 ml, currently selling for about 30 bucks. Is Lalique's Encre Noire. So you can get them at the discounters. If you want a Chanel Sycamore like experience, you've probably smelled it in a store, you've liked it, you've worn a decant, you've liked it, but you just don't want to justify paying the 200 ml bottle $350 price, or the 400 ml bottle $495 or whatever price it is, then I think this would do. I mean, if you're into the idea of budget fragrances, this would do, especially if you like Vetiver, if you like, Chanel Sycamore, you've sampled it and worn it and things like that. I would recommend this one. But this one has kind of similar notes. Vetiver, Cypress, there's a musk in here, some cashmere wood. But it's a solid release. I think it's definitely worth it, if, as I said, if you are on a budget. So Lalique Encre Noire is definitely a great alternative. But you can also go to the next step and get the more classier version of the Lalique Encre Noire and go to the Encre Noire à la Extrême. The à la Extrême to me seems a little more luxurious, and when you smell Sycamore, you do experience the kind of like Chanel classy luxury kind of a smell. It's a very, very luxurious vetiver fragrance, very, very classy. And here I think it's just one step classier than the original version, I think. Although after comparing and wearing these fragrances so much, I feel like the original Encre Noire is a little closer, and even though the Extreme sprays on smelling a lot like Chanel Sycamore, I feel like the original is a little more closer, because when the à la Extrême dries down, it does go into a little bit of a different direction. Not a lot, it'll still remind you of the Chanel Sycamore, but this I found online currently around 100 ml bottle for $25. Both of the Encre Noirs I found as testers online, so $25 for this one and $30 for this one. I think it was at Fragrance X. I'll have a link in the info box. But the Encre Noire à la Extrême features notes of vetiver, of course. It has two kinds of vetiver: cypress, incense, orris, elemi, patchouli, sandalwood, bergamot. And as I said, when you first spray it, it totally reminds you of Chanel Sycamore. In fact, it'll remind you of this as well. But I think this changes a little bit, not too much, to be a little different than Chanel Sycamore. So at that time, it doesn't remind me of Chanel Sycamore too much. But overall, it definitely does. So Lalique Encre Noire à la Extrême is a great alternative for Chanel Sycamore. The next one I'm going to recommend is from a house called Eccentric Molecules. This is Molecule 3. And Molecule 3 is a synthetic molecule, obviously. We've got Molecule 1, the most popular, and they've come out with 3 different variations on Molecule 1 now, that a couple of months ago. Then Molecule 2 is the ambroxan, Molecule 1 being the ISOE Super. And with number 3, they're using vetiviral acetate, which is a synthetic note that smells like vetiver. And to me, this one does smell like Sycamore. But not on initial spray. This is kind of reversed from the Encre Noire à la Extrême. This one to me starts off smelling a little different, kind of a vetiver, but then it kind of settles down to the smoky, earthy, somewhat damp Chanel Sycamore kind of a fragrance. So it's a different take on it. It's a synthetic molecule. It's not using natural ingredients from the earth, but it definitely does smell realistic, like it's a real vetiver fragrance. The other thing about this one is, whereas Molecule 1, Molecule 2, and Molecule 3 to an extent, and 5 are fragrances that are layerable, this one is so strong and potent as a smell, it's not minimalistic too much, so it actually acts like a real fragrance, just to be warned. But I did find an online discount of this, I think the same place, Fragrance X, for about $75 and 100 ml. So it's definitely worth it, I think, if you think it's a little too expensive for Sycamore from Chanel. So check that out. This is Eccentric Molecules, Molecule 3. That smells a little bit like Chanel Sycamore. The next one I'm going to recommend to you, the next 2 are not at the discounters. This brand currently started selling at Neiman Marcus. This is Jacques Fat, and this is Le Loden. I have a full review of this one. 100 ml for $160. This is the 50 ml bottle. This is definitely reminds me of Chanel Sycamore, I think, really, really closely. There are some minute differences, and Jacques Fat Le Loden uses vetiver, but there's 3 kinds of vetiver here: bourbon, Haiti, Java. There's a zingy, spicy ginger note in here. Of course, pink pepper comes in. And I get a lot of pink peppery touches with this one. There's major pepperiness that's in there, and that's definitely here. This one also has juniper berries, tobacco, patchouli, geranium. A great, very, very classy vetiver fragrance. If you like your classy fragrances, vetiver, earthy, kind of smoky fragrances, then definitely check out the Jacques Fat Lelo Den. So, great scent. And as I said, these are now sold at Neiman Marcus, which is kind of cool. For a while, they were at Barney's, and then they left, and now they're at Neiman's, which is kind of cool, as I said. The last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is kind of a curveball. This one is so different, but then it's not kind of different compared to Sycamore. We're going to the house of Etat Libre d'Orange. This is Fat Electrician. Now, in here, the vetiver is all like the vetiver in Sycamore, but this particular fragrance has gourmand notes, which actually takes the fragrance into a different direction. That's a unique thing for me. I don't really have a lot of gourmand vetiver fragrances. In fact, probably this is the only one. And I like what I'm smelling here because I love gourmand notes, and it really does complement and really work wonderfully with the vetiver that's in here. This is 100 ml bottle for about $150. I couldn't find any discounts for this one, but they are available at Twisted Lily, and I have a Twisted Lily discount code. It's the Perfume Guide 10. I'll have a link in the info box to get this off of Twisted Lily, and then also the Fragrance X for the other fragrances I discussed. But this features vetiver, whipped cream, candied chestnuts, olive leaf, vanilla, myrrh, opoponax. It's a smooth fragrance, whereas I don't find a lot of vetiver fragrances with its earthiness to be smooth, and I think what I'm getting smoothness here is the whipped cream with the candied chestnuts. If you like the idea of a fragrance like By the Fireplace, which also has candied chestnuts, it's here in contrast to the vetiver. Also, one other thing here, the fragrance just wears very smooth, and the experience for me with vetiver generally is leafy. This one seems like the leaves of the vetiver, or the grassiness of the vetiver, is chopped up. So it just wears very, very smooth, and I like that about it. A little bit granular, but very, very smooth fragrance because of the whipped cream and candied chestnuts. A really, really gorgeous fragrance. I really love this one. I think it's definitely worth it, especially there are people that don't like vetiver, that love gourmands. This is something you can try because, you know, it's a gourmand vetiver. And then also vice versa, there are some people that don't like gourmands, that are more into vetiver, kind of like a gateway to the one note, you know, that's prominent in this fragrance that you don't like, kind of a thing. Does that make sense? Like if you don't like the gourmands, you can go with this one because it has vetiver, and you like vetiver, vice versa. Really, really great fragrance. Check it out. It has a really, really, really funny story as well, Fat Electrician. So that's from the house of Etat Libre d'Orange, Fat Electrician. Anyway, so if I were Anna, I would definitely get the $495 bottle, especially now that there's a discrepancy with pricing. I think Chanel maybe hasn't updated their prices. I thought they might have, but according to my associate, my sales associate at Neiman's, she said it's a different price. So if it is $650, then I would get it right away, because once you factor in the $650 price for the 400 ml, the per mil price is going to be a lot higher. And I did not compute those prices because I got that message from my associate right before I sat down to shoot this video. But just imagine the differences in comparison to the $495 for the 400 ml versus the $650 for the 400 ml. Anyway, that's what I would do. I think Sycamore is a great fragrance. If you can't afford it, the alternatives are here for you. Check them out, get some samples to sample them. If you're on a budget and you buy budget fragrances, I think definitely these two will work great. I think they're great fragrances, solid fragrances from Lalique. Lalique doesn't disappoint with their fragrances. Maybe they do, but not all of them. And then also, this one's at the discounters as well, as I said, and I have links to Fragrance X on all three fragrances. This, you'd have to go to Neiman Marcus, and then of course here, I do have a link to Twisted Lily. Either way, guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Now, as I mentioned in the video earlier, I questioned my sales associate at Neiman's about the price for the 400 ml. I said I thought Chanel had them for $4.95, and then I wrote that to her, and she wrote back, sorry, it's $5.90 for the 400 ml. So now there's a different price as well, $590 for 400 ml. Either way, I think if you can get it for $4.95, get it. I think the prices are going to go up on the Chanel less exclusives fragrances. I wouldn't question it. I think they might even go up to $6.50 for the 400 ml. But you know what? One thing I forgot to mention in the actual review, I don't see the 400 mls quite frequently. And as I said, I called the Chanel boutique, and they did mention that they don't have any anywhere, except for I think Gardenia somewhere in Florida. So they couldn't do it here in San Francisco at the Chanel boutique. So get it if you can for $4.95. I think it's totally worth it, especially considering that prices will go up. And since Dior Privé went up prices from $330 to $350, I think Chanel prices for the 200 mls will most likely go up to either $370 or $375. That's my thoughts. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure that's going to happen, but I have a feeling because they do raise prices quite frequently. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for sticking around till the end.